Things are not looking good for Ubisoft across the board. They have seen a massive disaster in Skull and Bones. Even last year, looking back at their Avatar game, it did not meet expectations. They are looking at a boycott with Star Wars Outlaws as well as Assassin's Creed Shadows. We just reported on pre-order sales not looking good, at least for physical copies for a major national retailer. And now we are getting a rumor that XDefiant might be on the ropes as well, which is their newly released free-to-play team shooter. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. Wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com. And this rumor comes to us via Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming. He claims that internally at Ubisoft, optimism for the game has shifted primarily due to the game's continuously declining player numbers and lack of player spending. In fact, Henderson reported that one source informed him that, quote, the game has been struggling to obtain 20,000 concurrent players across all its platforms. Another source shared Ubisoft would probably be happy with that number. This suggests that the concurrent player number counts are much lower than 20,000, let alone hitting 20,000. In fact, Henderson also shared that if the game does not turn things around by season 3, it, quote, risks losing its much needed post-launch support. Things are not looking good over there at Ubisoft. And specifically, it looks like XDefiant not looking good at all. So just to provide some color here, some comparison, I did do some research on peak concurrent numbers for other team shooter games, looking at Apex Legends and games such as that. They are regularly getting over 50,000 concurrent players just on Steam alone. Apex Legends clocked in at 192,783 in the last 24 hours. Valve's Deadlock, which is kind of a team shooter. I guess it's a little bit of a MOBA as well. It just hit an all-time peak concurrent of 106,447 players in the last 24 hours. Obviously, newly released game there, so not sure exactly where that will kind of sit at. Team Fortress 2 had a 24-hour peak of 64,896. Counter-Strike 2 had over 1.3 million. PUBG Battlegrounds had 589,160. Call of Duty was at 79,504. Overwatch 2 had 51,485. And even Ubisoft's Rainbow Six Siege had 58,549. So you can see that the games that are in the upper echelon of this category are routinely over 50,000 peak concurrent players in the past 24 hours. Regularly hitting that. Obviously, Counter-Strike well and above everyone else. PUBG Battlegrounds clearly way above a lot of others as well. Apex Legends at the high end there. Call of Duty obviously will probably massively spike once the new game releases here very shortly. So we'll see that jump up quite a bit as well. But you can see even Overwatch 2 bringing in 51,485 in the last 24 hours. So if you're looking at sub 20,000 across all platforms, that is not good at all. Not good at all. And remember, these numbers here that we're looking at are just from Steam. They don't include other systems that these games might be available on, such as PlayStation or Xbox, etc. So Henderson went so far as to claim that internally many employees believe that layoffs are around the corner, especially at Ubisoft San Francisco. He shared that one source informed him, expect more Ubisoft San Fran layoff headlines within 6 months. We did just get one of those headlines earlier this month, just about 15 days ago, back on, I think it was August 17th. We had a report from Bloomberg that around 45 employees have been laid off between Ubisoft San Francisco and their Red Storm Entertainment studio in Cary, North Carolina. A spokesman told Bloomberg that the, quote, difficult yet necessary decision was made to align these studios as organizations with their future business and development objectives. Red Storm Entertainment was working on the division Heartland, but Ubisoft reported in May it was scrapping development on that game and redeploying resources to bigger opportunities such as XDefiant and Rainbow Six. So the indication there being that those that Red Storm was indeed working on XDefiant at the time of those layoffs. Obviously, some of those people might have been staying around that were working on the Division Heartland, and maybe they were just redundant at that point. And obviously, we know that the company is struggling and has seemingly a very bloated workforce. I think over 20,000 employees or something like that. Utterly insane amount of employees that Ubisoft has. So if we go back to the company's first quarter sales report, CEO XDefiant touted XDefiant's success, which launched its preseason on May 21st. He said the quarter notably saw the launch of XDefiant that is off to an encouraging start as we continue to grow the audience at a steady pace and plan a quarterly roadmap of content that will allow us to firmly establish the game over time. Seems like just in a few short months, that is no longer the case if this rumor is to be believed. It does not look like they are going to be able to firmly establish this game as people are abandoning it en masse and seemingly not even spending any money on the game. That if we continue through that report, it also shared this. The game that topped viewership charts acquired more than 10 million players within its first 2 weeks, with players praising the thrilling, fast-paced gameplay and the map variety. So obviously touting the number of players, but again, this is a free-to-play game, so people were clearly checking it out. It was the first 2 weeks, but it looks like they might have checked it out and then returned to whatever shooter they were previously playing. Probably Counter-Strike 2 based on those 1.3 million concurrent numbers. Or maybe they're just waiting for Call of Duty to come back out as well. The report also declared this. The game outperformed expectations thanks to acquisition and strong average revenue per session day. So they did seemingly indicate that it was doing well, at least early on. People were spending money. But if we believe this new rumor, it seems like maybe those people have left. They're not spending as much money. And the game is not doing as well as what it was when it first launched. Henderson did claim that the game had over 1 million unique players in its first 2.5 hours and over 8 million in its first 2 weeks. So, in its first week. So if we go back to what Ubisoft is saying here, they're saying 10 million within its first 2 weeks. So it only added 2 million more in that second week. It didn't continue on the pace that it was. Obviously, massive fall off there. And seemingly it looks like even more fall off. I wonder if 10 million was the peak unique that they actually hit. And they never went higher than that. And obviously, if they can't even hit 20,000 concurrent, it is looking really, really bad for this game. Just what? We're in August now. We're at the end of August. We're almost in September. We're in May. So what we're looking at four months, not even 4 months. And this game is already on the ropes here. Already on the ropes. Not good at all for Ubisoft. And again, this is just one of the dominoes that this company has put up that is seemingly getting knocked over. Obviously mentioned Skull and Bones earlier, not looking good for that game as well. Avatar did not seemingly do very well either based on how much they spent on it. And then obviously Star Wars Outlaws, they were having some very soft predictions on what they would do for that. And it looks like people might not be purchasing that game to what they thought they were going to. And then obviously Assassin's Creed Shadows might be the biggest disappointment given the fact that those pre-order sales look really, really bad, especially when we're looking at physical editions. And even if you go to the PlayStation Store, the pre-order sales don't look very good there either. Covered that in a video yesterday. But what do you guys make of this rumor that XDefiant could be on the ropes? Ubisoft might be pulling post-launch support from the game. It's not even achieving 20,000 concurrent players across all platforms, and people are spending less money, and players are abandoning this game. What do you make of this report? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, but to always speak the truth.